Civilization 7 has a massive make-or-break month ahead of it in March, with not just one, but two free patch updates. Following on from that, another update in April, and then more to come. Some hotly requested and definitely needed features like auto-explore for scouts, right the way through to hot seat multiplayer and modding tool coming a little later down the track. All of this was just revealed, or at least fleshed out as part of the new development roadmap that Firaxis have just announced and published for Civilization 7. And that is, of course, the focus of today's video. Let's begin by taking a look at the first patch update, the first line item on the roadmap, coming out so soon that many of you watching this video may be watching it after the update's already released. So yes, it was revealed in Firaxis' comms today that on the 4th of March, Civilization 7 will receive update 1.1.1, and it will be deployed, console players will be pleased to know, across both PC and console. And crossplay will of course be re-enabled with that update. The timing may differ a little bit on Nintendo Switch. They are gatekeeping the full patch notes just a little bit. Maybe they're not even done yet. However, the highlight changes have been revealed, and here they are. Firstly, there's a free wonder, not to be confused with the paid content that's also rolling out at the same time. More on that in a moment. It's the Bermuda Triangle. Secondly, hotly requested, again and again and again, UI adjustments, polish, addressing some of the reported issues. The third point is maybe more of an unexpected one and an interesting one. They say they're going to make quote-unquote significant changes to the modern age's cultural legacy path and victory. Going out to find those artifacts, completing your cultural event. AI leaders will apparently also be better at completing the victory, and we should expect fewer of those just deathly stacks of explorers all over the place. Stepping back an age, or actually maybe just to the fundamentals of the game as well, firstly, you'll be able to convert holy cities in the exploration age from now on. Though you'll still be able to make your own missionaries in those cities, don't worry, if they're converted, you can still spread your religion. Naval units will be able to disperse coastal independent powers, seems fairly important, and they're doing a balance pass on several mementos. So, your extreme scouting or easy cheap settlers or whatever you're doing with those mementos might be about to change. The final changes that were revealed today to be coming to Civ 7 very soon are refinements to the army unpacking action. I hope they don't nerf this. I hope they buff it. Please don't make it worse. I don't know, maybe something will happen with that first promotion, which everybody should just take all the time anyway. Secondly, here, rounding out the last point for the update, addressing reported issues with multiplayer and adding friends. And finally, speaking of friends, our friends on console will receive all prior patch updates in addition to this one. However, the 4th of March is not just a day of free content for Civilization 7. For the first part, anyway, the first half of the Crossroads of the World collection will be released. So if you've got the Deluxe Edition, the Founders Edition, that'll be rolling out to you as well. And I assume you'll be able to purchase it separately too if you're interested. The update brings, this time around, Great Britain, if you can believe it. A DLC civilization in Civ 7. Wow. It arrives to the modern age. Carthage arrives to the Antiquity Age. That's pretty cool. And a new leader to go along with that modern age Great Britain, a Lovelace. There'll also be some paid natural wonders to build on top of the one free one. There'll be 4 of those, as you can see here. Personal favorite of mine, probably Mount Fuji. Okay, now we need to take a time jump. 3 weeks into the future. 3 weeks beyond March 4th comes March 25. And on March 25, they are planning to release another major patch update for Civilization 7, this one labeled 1.1.1. And this second update kind of mirrors the first one, though it starts to look at some other things. It starts to look at maps in particular, as well as some of those hotly requested features. So UI improvements and refinements mentioned here again. This time we also see a mention of the AI. The AI will hopefully be less aggressive, less likely to forward settle by making changes to how it scouts and settles. Please do. Although I don't mind a cheeky forward settle now and again. Some functional changes include a quick move functionality, which many of you will be pleased about, as well as one that I'm quite pleased about, the ability to customize city names. What year is it? Also, commander names too. A restart button will also be added, allowing us to re-roll. And that brings me to a more important point that's listed here, changes to the maps. The maps that are currently in the game will be entirely renamed to be called Start Position, balanced maps, because of course they are very routine. This will be, they say, the default starting position setting for multiplayer games. So, a few of you out there playing multiplayer, that will be your standard. A balanced, clear-cut, fabricated, fairly routine start. For the rest of us, a new start position will be added called Standard, where landforms will be less predictable, closer to a traditional civilization experience. And while we'll all receive Mount Everest for free by probably the end of March, in this March the 25th update, the Crossroads of the World collection will also receive the second part of its DLC, and the final part, of course, this time around introducing Simon Bolivar as a new leader, as well as civilizations of Bulgaria in the Exploration Age, and Nepal in the Modern Age, two brand new, I believe, civilizations to the Civ franchise as a whole. Now we need to turn to the third part on that update roadmap from the start of the video, Beyond March. What are the priorities after these two significant patch updates hit and land in our grubby little hands? Honestly, here, a lot of them we've discussed before, so let's go through them very quickly. More improvements to the UI, a one more turn button to let you play after the modern age, auto-explore for your scouts as they explore the many new map sizes, as well as some new resource types. On the multiplayer front, team support and hot seat will be added, and back to the core game itself, research queuing, a very novel idea, will be added to the game, as well as mod tools, game setup customization options, and more. And so when will all of this be coming together? When will these extra changes play out? Well, they're a little bit sort of airy-fairy around the detail here. The process of scoping the work necessary to bring these priorities to the game as soon as we can is what they're currently doing. Some of them will be delivered, they say, as early as April, subject to change, though many will take longer to develop, test, and deploy. Okay, so it could take a few months, and we should expect to hear more right here in the coming weeks and months as their plans solidify. They also mention here, of course, how you can provide feedback, quite a few different ways to do it. Looking at the update as a whole, I see they've postponed events to try and focus on quality of life improvements for the game. A good move, and a step in the right direction on many fronts, I would say. Zooming out and looking at all of the changes, I think that these put us in a place where a lot of the changes are things we've discussed partially, or are often expected, right? I mean, the UI improvements, obviously. AI improvements, less forward settling, yeah, absolutely. Some things a little bit less expected, though, a little bit less routine, a little bit less even, this should have been there in the first place, like renaming cities. The changes to the modern age culture victory in particular have me quite interested, not just in how they'll manage all of those extra units standing around doing nothing. And then, of course, there's this underlying element of DLC, paid DLC coming out at the same time as these updates. Now, this isn't news in of itself. We've been talking about it, probably reported on it for the first time maybe months ago at this point. But it really puts it into context, sitting here on the 28th of February, having seen the game release in February, that DLC is coming out in just a few days' time, and it includes Great Britain. This will undoubtedly leave a sour taste in many people's mouths, and I think rightfully so. On the whole, however, all of these changes are of course good things. Good to see. I'd love to see more of this, and I'd love to see it more frequently. We've been through 2 periods, maybe a week, maybe longer, of radio silence from Firaxis, so please, keep the information coming and keep the updates coming. I will of course also try and do the same for you right here, so thank you very much for being here, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.